It's the last show of the year because today is Friday, December 26th, 2025. Let's start off a little ways in, as we typically do, by letting you know if you'd like to support our show. You can go to supportourshow.com. We are 2 hours past our 2 hours. Yeah, we're 1 hour. We're 2 minutes short of 2 hours past where we intended to start, but we've had some network connectivity issues.
My network, let's just put the blame where it is. My network has shit the bed. Is really what it is. Well, your network is fine. I don't want you to. I don't want you to put this on you. This is my network. My network has shit the bed, and you know what? I'm at the edge of the network anyway, and like there's supposed to be a mesh network that connects beyond to where I am, and that has fucking died. So we're just.
The node that would keep Lando within the mesh appears to have decided that it's time to shuffle off to wherever routers go or nodes go. And,
so we've started this. We've started all this a little bit annoyed.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I don't really have any programming notes, so not much up front, I don't think.
I feel bad.
As a reminder, the Alien Earth episodes
that we basically that we almost have to slim the show because we're waiting for my network to just shit itself.
Nah, you know what? Listen, we've done quite a few 3-hour really and change shows lately. I decided not to do any more 5s for the rest of the year because I just didn't feel like having to do it. So you know what? Most shows take the last 2 weeks off entirely. We're not doing that. There's plenty of stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, most shows right now, most shows basically the last 2 weeks don't do anything, or their last day would be the Monday or Tuesday before Christmas, and then they're basically offline till the new year. So whatever. I said this on the 5 that I posted. The Patreon channel is loaded for December. The YouTube channel has stuff coming out. There's plenty of shit to listen to, and the normal shows will be there for Friday, so I am not concerned about. It's fine. So if we have one show that's, sub 3 hours or 2 hours even, I'm not concerned. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But like I said, that's the only programming note I would say is that, especially this month, there is a ton in the Patreon under even the free level. That's why I always want to make a reminder, you are not required to pay anything to see what's in there. So if you want to see the Alien Earth stuff, that's out or coming out. Yeah, it's out. That's out. And then there will be a commentary for the end of the month. So yeah, basically there's 10 commentaries in December. You have no shortage of shit if you want to hear us babbling. It's there. So that's all I have programming notes wise as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So because we're kind of surfing the edge of a giant wave on a cliff. Unless you have anything else, you want to just jump right in?
You know what? That's fine. I don't really. I'm almost too irritated with my own network to bullshit. we've been
That's fine.
We've been
like I said,
chatting
I
about
take a
so
risk
much
if we
other
can knock the
shit,
thing out.
like, while we were waiting to see if the network would right itself. That
yeah.
No, it's fine.
Oh yeah. I mean, at one point, Lando literally was running off his phone with his mic plugged into it. So we're in a better shape than that. But that gives you.
I mean, I have the mesh network Orbi thing next to me right now, and it just died again. I just watched the light. Yeah. I watched the light go out of its eyes.
Yeah, see, that's.
Yes.
You watched
its eyes
die
me one last time and blinked.
Yeah. All right. Well, fuck it. And said goodbye, sir. Goodbye, master.
It's the end
off
of
to
the
sky
year.
Now. All right.
So here we find ourselves.
Here we go. Yeah, we're jumping in. Fuck it. Here it comes.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice,
You shut the fuck up!
Thanks for killing my mom.
Hey, no problem.
See, white girls bore me.
You can eat shit and die, Colonel.
Garbage day!
Huh?
No!
Yes. Most people will know that clip if they've never even seen the movie. But Lando and I did indeed watch a set of holiday slasher films. One very good, one basically a recycled job with wasted ideas. So we're going to review that among a couple of other films. So yes, we watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original, the 1984 original, and Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which we might as well just blend those reviews together
we've got
half of
4
two
movies
is one.
tonight, but really it's 2 reviews, the way that my brain is kind of handling all this. Because the 4 movies we watched very much pair up with an idea. So... Sorry, my wife is texting me. I had texted my wife about our network. And she just finally texted me back. No, she just texted me back. And she was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, you don't have to do anything. And because my wife doesn't understand how any of this works, she was like, do you want to get on my laptop? And it's like, no, because I have all the software here. Like, yeah, don't do anything. Don't do anything.
Touch anything.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine. It's like, just walk away. Just back away. So yes, we have these 4 movies that we watched, and so we're gonna talk about the 2 Silent Night, Deadly Nights, and then we'll talk about the other 2 movies. I was surprised, by the way. So Joe, very often lately, Joe is. I feel like you're kind of pushing my boundaries a little bit of late to see like how far we can go before you trigger my insomnia, right? And it's not a bad thing. I get what you've been doing. I don't know if you've been doing it consciously, but like we've been like kind of like testing it, like watching some other content and seeing if it sets me off, and and it's good because it gets you a sense of like where the edges of the map are, right? So, and especially with horror movies, because sometimes it's tough to go to bed. It's tough for me to go to bed with like kind of bad head mojo, Like I thought that Friday the 13th 2 was gonna screw with me a little bit, but then it didn't, and I was surprised. And Nightmare on Elm Street.
You mean Nightmare on Elm Street 2?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Friday the 13th Part 2. We're not gonna watch.
So when we watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, I vaguely had heard of this movie. I thought it was something else, and I thought this was just going to be another kind of generic, a Christmas themed like horror movie, and I was pleasantly surprised is a weird way to say it, because this isn't a pleasant movie. Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 is a unique film in that it is a really mean movie, but it is a mean movie that spends more than I think any other movie I've seen trying to explain to you why its killer started killing. Because I can't think of another movie that 45 minutes into the movie your villain still hasn't popped. And there's something just
Well, not only hasn't popped, but you are sympathetic
you feel bad
towards.
for him. You know, like I gotta say, the beginning of Silent Night, Deadly Night is that basically some like crazy criminal kills a family, like tries to rape the mother, but she won't have it, so he just kills her. He does it all in front of the two kids. One is a baby, so he doesn't really see what happens, but the older son, who I think is probably like 8 or 9, he witnesses it, right? And then they all end up in a foster home, or not a foster home, what do you call it? A religious.
Orphanage,
religious
Catholic
orphanage.
nun-run orphanage.
Yeah,
so
and,
Catholic orphanage.
And then the head nun there is a bit of a hard ass, and just doesn't understand that the child is disturbed, that there's trauma, and she just doubles down. And in doing that, she makes the trauma worse and worse and worse.
Well, I think one of the things that the movie is smart about, many things that actually are very smart in the movie where they don't have to explicitly tell you, is you understand that the Mother Superior who runs the orphanage is of the old school solution to kids acting up, which is yell at them, beat them, punish them.
Ties
don't try
them down,
to understand what's
punishes
happening.
them. I mean, and there's a scene where that kid's in the corner, like literally there's a child and he's in a corner, he's literally crying and being like, you know, I didn't mean to do it. He's like, don't punish me, I didn't mean to do it, you know. And she seems to think that she can beat his trauma out of him, but really what she's doing is she's just making it worse. So the whole first part of the movie is you seeing this kid get taken psychologically apart. And then we jump to him being 18, and he seems like he's okay. And the thing that you hear is that, okay, well, you know, he gets a little bit... He does not like Santa Claus, does not like Christmas. But he's okay the rest of the time. And so when you meet him again at 18, he seems okay. You know, and like the secondary nun who kind of understands him tries to get him a job, and she gets him a job at a toy store working in the back stock room. And he's a strong guy, he's fit, and he seems like he's got his life together. And you're like, okay, you know, but the thing is that nobody around him understands his trauma, and his trauma hasn't really been addressed. So when, through a series of unfortunate events, the store Santa Claus breaks his leg, essentially, and the manager basically grabs the lowest person on the totem pole, which is our lead. Is it Billy? It's Billy, right? Yeah. Billy gets put in a Santa Claus
in the first
suit
movie, yes.
Asked to be Santa Claus. And this is at like the 45-minute mark, right? Billy gets put in a Santa Claus suit. And we have spent the entire 45 minutes up to that moment understanding how the idea of Santa Claus frightens him, and how he thinks that Santa Claus is there to punish people, and that his, you know, and it's connected to the death of his parents. I mean, there's just so much disturbance there. And at 45 minutes, they put him in a Santa Claus suit, and he looks in the mirror, and you can see, I mean, I give credit to the actor. You can see that Billy is completely lost as to what to do. I mean, he hasn't broken yet, but he's fucked up. And there's this awful scene where he's got the little girl on his lap, and he's trying to do the Santa Claus thing, but she keeps like whining, and he's like, stop whining. He's like, don't you understand? He's like, Santa Claus punishes mean kids. And like, I mean, basically scares the shit out of her. And still hasn't quite broken yet, right? And what finally breaks him is the girl that he likes is getting with one of the other guys in the stock room during the Christmas party. And he gets rough with the girl, who's kind of like who backs off, but the guy gets rough with her. And when he sees the guy rip her shirt open, that's really it, right? That's what triggers Billy finally. He sees that, and it's like, it makes him think of his mom being assaulted.
Yeah, because literally the way that the guy's on top of her is exactly the same. The positioning. You see like a cutback, a flashback, and that's when you realize, oh, this is it. Because he's seeing it. I mean, like you said, this is kind of the classic thing, the PTSD thing, where he's building up. The minute he gets in the Santa suit, the pressure starts building. And it's that point where the pressure boils over, and that's it. It's like, okay, now it's off to the races, and he's going to flip out.
And when he does freak out, he fucking kills that guy. And then the girl freaks out at him, at which point he kills her too. And that's it. Now he's it. Now he is the monster Santa Claus. He is the monster that he was afraid of all this time. And you know what? I was thinking about this after the fact. Do you know what a relief that must be in a weird way for him? To suddenly become the thing that he was always afraid of. And it's like he doesn't have to be afraid of it anymore. Yeah. Because he is that thing. He doesn't want to be it. But there must be a weird kind of catharsis in suddenly being the monster that you were always afraid that was coming for you. So I got to tell you, this movie shouldn't have the levels that it does, and I'm sure you can watch this movie. Actually, you know what? I don't think so. I don't think you can watch this movie as a straight like slasher flick. I think that because they spend so much time getting you to understand Billy's like pain, that when he does actually become Santa, like, you know, the Santa Claus killer, I felt bad. I really felt bad that Billy lost. That Billy basically that his trauma caught up with him. And then from that point on, you know, it's the movie changes gears and Billy kills everybody in the toy store. I mean, the employees, there's no kids there. It's just like the employees. He kills all the employees. He eventually has an axe, but he doesn't really have a weapon that he chooses before that. I mean, he kills one guy with Christmas lights, he stabs somebody else with a box cutter, he shoots one person with a bow and arrow. I mean, I give the director credit that, like, in the toy store murders, like, he uses lots of different shit. And then eventually, actually, you know what? Even after that he gets the axe, he doesn't use the axe to kill everybody, because I'm thinking about later on, I mean, he strangles the one guy again. I mean, he throws the axe at somebody. But really, I mean, yeah. Yeah,
bow and arrow, the Christmas lights, knife,
and horns.
Yeah.
And essentially,
window.
He starts making his way back to the orphanage. But on the way, he's finding bad people to punish, right? And there is one absolutely over-the-top scene where he grabs a half-naked girl and stabs her on the horns of a wall-mounted deer head, a buck head, and that is well done. Like the way they did it with the horns coming out of the stomach. I mean, the way they cut it together, that is pretty gruesome. That's probably the most gruesome murder in the movie.
Yeah, that, and the actress is Linnea Quigley, who, if you're a fan of B movies, you know that if you see that name and it's the 80s and early 90s, she's either nude or in the shower nude.
She was nude.
And that's it. Yes. Famously Trash from Return of the Living Dead, where she does her nude gravestone dance. That is what most people will know her from. And, you know, then there are many other movies where she's usually showering.
Well, no, it's fine. So Billy kills some people. Really, so I mean, at this point, you can no longer root for Billy. Billy has become the monster, and then he's headed back to the orphanage. Now, while this is all going on, yeah.
Although, just to point out, there is a little girl that comes up to him in the house after he's killed Linnea Quigley and the boyfriend, and he says to her, "Have you been good all year?" And she says yes, and he gives her a bloody box cutter and spares her because she says she's been good.
Oh shit, I don't have any presents for you. And he gives her his bloody box cutter because he has nothing else to give her, and she deserves a gift, which goes to show that there are rules intact for this creature that he's become. You know? And meanwhile, while all this is going on, the cops are freaking out because they realize something is going on, and they can't find him. They don't know where he is, and they start basically going after any Santa that they see, which, you know, on Christmas, that's a hell of a thing to do. And then, you know, there's a series of kind of murders. The priest killed the wrong Santa Claus, who turns out to be a deaf priest, which, I mean, Jesus Christ. God, that's the thing. But what they realize is that Billy is coming for the Mother Superior. Of all the people that are naughty, she is the naughtiest. She is, you know, And you know what's funny is there's almost a part of me that wonders that if Billy could have killed her, it would have broken the spell, and he would have come back. You know, it's like a weird psychological thing. Like, if you could have killed her, would you have come back? Like, would have pulled you out of this state of what do you call it? He's in this mania. You've just
whatever
this
his fugue state was
descended into, and this.
I would say no. I think Billy is too damaged for too long without any help, and at best, he would probably go into an institution and might not be murderous, but would never be able to react normally to anything going wrong.
And the thing is that at the end of this movie, when Billy gets back to the orphanage and doesn't kill Mother Superior, he gets shot before he kills her, and he falls down dead in front of his brother. So his brother went to the same orphanage, which you realize later on, but it is him. But when Billy doesn't kill Mother Superior in this movie, do you know I genuinely was I think you'd hear in the commentary, I was genuinely like upset. It made me sad that Billy didn't at least get the opportunity to take revenge on his abuser. That she lives. It is a unique movie that not only makes you feel bad for the killer and feel sad when he finally breaks, but then to also feel bad when he doesn't get to kill somebody. You're like, oh man, like, yeah, it's not that I'm not rooting for him. I don't want him to kill other people. It is sad what happens to him. But if he's going to kill anybody, I feel like he should get the opportunity to kill the one person who, when he was at his most vulnerable, basically abused the shit out of him. So, yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night is a strangely unique, like, slasher, I wouldn't even call it a horror movie. It's like a slasher thriller, right? I mean...
Yeah, it's more of a psychological thriller in total than a slasher film. That's what I would say. That would be my description of it. I would not call it a slasher film.
Because for so much, for so much of it,
you're not even. There's
no murder
thriller.
Really. I mean, it's in the very beginning, and then.
And the thing is that based on the poster, which was famous at the time, it's a striking poster. It's a beautiful poster as far as getting you to look at it. And if you only watched the first 10 minutes and stopped, you would think this is just another slasher film.
Yeah,
that's just cruel and mean, but there's nothing to it. You have to get past that.
Because the first 10 minutes
and see where it goes.
What happens to Billy, and then after that, it's Billy in the orphanage, Billy getting disturbed, Billy having nightmares, Billy being mistreated by the Mother Superior, and then Billy suddenly being 18 and being out in the world, and it's.
Well, there's an interesting aspect to this, and I don't know if it's intentional or not. I really don't. But when the movie starts, we have a killer Santa who we know nothing about. There is no motivation. There is no explanation. He is the classic kind of just crazy killer. And then the movie inverts that by showing you exactly what makes this killer, which is Billy. And you understand all of it, which is the opposite of the opening Santa. We never ever hear anything about. He's just gone. He just disappears.
He's basically just doing whatever he wants. Yeah. But I'm telling you, it is a really strange movie because I really expected it to be just like kind of a slasher flick, like a Christmas themed slasher flick, and I was not expecting to be so sad. Like, I mean, it got me. It really did get me. Like in the. It got an emotional reaction out of me where I was like, oh, Billy. Oh, I mean, don't be wrong. When he mounts the girl on the friggin' buck antlers, that was pretty intense and hilarious. But beyond that, like, it's sad because once Billy snaps, like, there's no good ending for Billy. And, like, the best ending in this movie would have been for Billy to hit Mother Superior and then be shot. But it's the fact that he doesn't even get her. And, like, his last words is that he basically tells the kids that it's okay, Santa's dead now or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, his last words are basically saying to the kids in the orphanage, you're safe now. So, I I don't want to say that I really enjoyed this movie, but I thought it was very well done for what it was. I was not expecting it to be that well set up. I mean, don't get me wrong. It has its dead air. It has its moments that go on a little long here and there. But it's actually a pretty tight movie. Yeah.
But I was going to say, not many for what you would think. It's pretty well paced.
Yeah. And again, like I said, once he goes nuts, I mean, the movie picks up a lot of speed at that point. And yeah, but it's. Well,
you had said you didn't know if I was pushing your boundaries, and this one specifically, I was curious with your psychology background how you would find it. I thought you would read into it.
Like even now, thinking of this movie.
Well, and that's the thing is. That's what's interesting is to look at the poster and to hear because it was when it came out, there was a huge amount of controversy. It was pulled from theaters. It was a complete nightmare because, all they saw was Killer Santa and you're going to scar kids. And so it never really was appreciated. But to me, it is more than a slasher film. There is
so
something
much
really interesting in it.
The fixation is Santa Claus. But honestly, this is the funny thing about it. It could have been anybody. The idea was that guy was dressed as a iconic child thing, right? Yeah,
it could have been. If he was in the Easter Bunny, it would have been the Easter Bunny. If it had been a leprechaun for St. Patrick's Day, it would have been a leprechaun.
Child thing that, for all intents and purposes, should have been safe. And then it was so not safe, it was the opposite. Suddenly became dangerous and murderous. And in the process, he lost everybody that was protective to him. He lost his parents and the idea of Santa Claus in one night. Right? So the fact...
Well, okay, actually, there's three traumas. One, the grandfather telling him Santa's going to punish you right off the bat.
And honestly,
before anything else happens, the grandfather.
In the very beginning of the movie, they go to visit... They're going to visit the father, the father's father, so the grandfather, who's in a mental hospital. He doesn't talk to anybody. And when they leave the boy in the room alone with the grandfather, who for this, in all intents and purposes, is just a mute, he starts talking to the kid and saying kind of disturbing shit like, Santa punishes kids, and you better be careful because he'll fucking come for you, That is the only part of the movie that's inconsistent to me. Because why would he do that? And why would it specifically be Santa punishes and then they see a Santa on the side of the road? You know what I mean? Like that is the only part of the movie that oddly feels very like forced.
Yeah, I feel like what they should have done was establish that like his parents were very strict about Christmas, and if he had misbehaved once, with Grandpa,
honestly,
Grandpa's not a big fan of Christmas because his parents were very strict, and if he acted up, blah blah blah. But why it's important is it sets up the thing with the little girl later when he says, "Have you been good all year?" And when she says yes, he's like,
and when
okay,
we were watching
you pass. That's fine.
I realized
that's where that comes from.
That he has rules intact. Like there is a structure to how he's functioning. If you're good, right. But that specific part comes from the grandfather saying, "You better," because he says to him, "Have you been good all year?" And Billy says, "I don't know," and he's like, "Well, then you better watch out." So it's setting that up. Yeah.
I agree. It's not smooth.
Yeah.
So it's good that the clunkiness is up front.
Yeah.
So, because it's not really laid out.
And honestly, for anybody who's interested in kind of like serial killer or, like murder thrillers or psychological murder thrillers, that type of thing, I think it's worth watching because it does take a unusual amount of time to really let you know why Billy is the way he is. And when he does finally snap, there was no doubt in my mind why Billy snapped, what Billy saw that made him snap, and then, how it just kept going. So Silent Night, Deadly Night is a very interesting, like, thriller killer movie. It was not at all what I expected. That cannot be said for the sequel.
Yeah. I actually would say, before we go to 2, which we'll go in a second, but the one thing I do want to say is it is a shockingly, for its time and genre, it is a shockingly progressive movie in terms of telling you why mental health treatment matters. Which, looking at the poster, you'd never in a million years say, "Oh, this is a movie about mental health and why not getting proper treatment is
trauma
bad."
Out of kids.
But that's what it is.
Like that. Yep. So
right.
And the thing is,
Yep.
And yeah,
anyway,
and the thing is that
then we go
one
to
was so surprisingly good, right? Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is so surprisingly bad that it gives you whiplash. So oh god, that was terrible. So up front, you need to know right away that they didn't have the money to make this movie, right? The director knew that he couldn't make it. What you've got here right up front is you've got a 45-minute movie, right? And then they understood that to actually get it in theaters, it had to be of a certain length, right? So the director had no money. He didn't know what else to do. And so what they decided to do was to take the first movie and cut it into the sequel as backflashes. So the whole first half of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is Billy's younger brother, who is now in a mental institution, recounting to a doctor everything that happened in the first movie. And then they show you the scenes from the first movie, right? And for us, who just recently saw Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, it was fucking insulting. I mean, if I went to theaters and I paid for that and that's what I got, I'd be pretty fucking pissed off. And I'm gonna get that bad out of the way because it is the thing that ruins it. I was, by the time the new content started, I was so irritated with this movie. I was like, and you said to me at one point, just when you think that they've run out of footage from the first movie, just wait, there'll be more. And it's right. They show almost the entirety of the first film. I mean, this is one of those rare cases that if we hadn't seen the first movie, the second movie would have been a lot better because then it would be like, oh, it's all new content. But in this case, having seen the first movie made it shittier because we basically were watching the first movie again. So that's fucking annoying. Beyond that, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is essentially a 45-minute movie about Billy's brother, who is also disturbed. And it is not a good movie. But what really is annoying is that there are elements to it that are really interesting. That could have been just as good as a movie as the first one if they'd had the time and the money. I mean, if they had the money, really, is what it is. But they didn't. So what you end up with is you get shadows of elements that could have been really interesting. Like you were saying to me that his fix the what is his brother's name? Is it Ricky? It's Ricky, isn't it? Ricky and Billy. Yeah.
It is Ricky. Billy
Rick is disturbed by Santa Claus. Ricky is disturbed by nuns, right? And there are these little smart things that the movie does where, Ricky, after he watches his brother be murdered by police, is essentially they find a foster family for him, and they give him, it's a Jewish family, so he doesn't have any of he doesn't have to deal with Christmas at all, right?
A caring foster family too, because the normal way for a movie like this would be that they're abusive too. But no, they're very caring, and the mother recognizes that he needs extra attention. So it's again, you can see where they started to have cleverness and just never did anything with it, which is unfortunate.
They just So because you're watching cliff notes of what could have been the second movie is really what you're getting. And so, he has these, and while his parents were both alive, he was pretty normal. And it wasn't until his foster father died that he realized that that he essentially started killing. And the thing is, it's not like he killed. He hasn't snapped yet. His murder still had kind of like a strong cause and effect. So after his father died, he was kind of aimless, and at one point he's in the woods. And honestly, is probably
before we did the woods.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
There's one important thing, which is So before the father dies, there's a scene where he's with his mother at a store
on the street, yeah.
and you see these nuns come out, and it really is, unfortunately, it's almost comedically done because they play the music up way too much. It's like the Omen type music playing.
This movie, but this problem is this movie is borderline comedic at times because of the way they
but especially at this point, I think it was accidental. Later, it's you don't know what's going on, but the nuns come out and Ricky has a reaction, and this makes sense. Ricky was too young to really know what was going on with Santa, but he was in the orphanage with the abusive nun, the Mother Superior. So that would be his source of trauma.
Yeah.
So when he sees them, he starts freaking out, and then they go into a store and the mom looks and doesn't see anything and goes back to talking to her friend. Then they come back, he freaks out again, and again they disappear, but the mother doesn't get angry at him. She recognizes that there's something going on and says, look, she's like, I have to take care of him. And she gets him out of the situation, which again, you sit there and go, if supportive people, like she recognized something. And if they had kept the focus of Ricky on the nuns and not gone back to the Santa suit, which we'll get to later, that's the first part where the movie just failed on understanding that would make more sense. I don't
have a problem with him wearing the Santa suit, but I'll explain that later.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, but there would have been more to it if they'd spent more of the movie with the nun stuff as opposed to recycling the first movie.
Yeah, I know. So then later on, after his father dies, he's walking in the woods and he hears a woman who's basically like her boyfriend wants sex and she doesn't want to have it, and then he starts trying to force her. He starts trying to rape her, and she keeps saying no. So then she kicks him in the groin and throws him off. Then he's like, I'm gonna go to my car and get a beer and I'll be back. And you're like, okay. So then the bad boyfriend, he goes to his car and he gets a beer and he's standing in front of the car, and when he looks, Ricky is in the driver's seat, and the guy left the keys in the ignition, and Ricky just turns the car on and runs him over, backs up, runs him over, backs up again, all in clear view of the woman, right? Now, I thought, much like in the first movie, when he did this, that the woman was going to freak out at him and Ricky was going to kill her too, right? But instead, he gets out of the car and he looks over at her and she goes, "Thank you." And he looks at her and nods and just kind of walks off, and that's it, right? And I was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ! I didn't expect that." And the thing is, Ricky then doesn't get triggered, and I wonder if the fact that she reacted with gratitude made it so that he didn't get worse then, right? And this is what I mean by there is moments in this movie where you're like, "Oh God, this is the interesting movie this should have been." But you didn't have the money or the time, so I'm just getting pieces of it. So
No, I completely agree. I think the fact that she thanked him, there wasn't an anger, there wasn't a resistance. It was basically saying, you did the right thing. So of course he wouldn't be triggered because he was like, oh, okay, I did the right thing. So why would he be angry?
And then later on, and Ricky is jacked, by the way. The actor who plays Ricky, I don't really have a problem with him. I found out while we were watching it that apparently the director and the writer were telling him two different things. So one of them wanted to be as over the top as possible, and the other one wanted him to be almost kind of sarcastic and funny, like Freddy Krueger.
Well, and reinforcing that, when Lennon Kabaczynski and I talked about this, Len said, that's the director's fault. You do not blame an actor for that. That's the director's job to make sure that shit doesn't happen. So it's not the actor's fault.
Ricky's performance is really unhinged, and sometimes he's almost you know what it is? He shifts between being Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Because half the time he's like, ha ha ha, I hear he says one of the things with he has some funny line. And then other time he's just
good point.
Yeah, and then the other time he's just sitting there like a giant, just beast, just staring people down, So it's a weird performance. But again, he hasn't gone full maniac yet. So later on, he sees some loan shark beating up some guy in the woods, in an alley, and he has a job. At this point, he still has a job. He's still somewhat normal, but he sees this guy beating him up in an alley, and he stabs him to death with an umbrella, which is an impressive scene. Because the fucking umbrella opens on the other side as the guy collapses to the floor, and then it starts raining. And I'm like, okay, again, this is that thing where there's an interesting movie that should have happened here. Like, some of these shots, you're like, man, okay, there's something going on here. Like, there was more going on. Like, they were thinking about this. And then he gets a girlfriend. He meets this girl. And by the way, while this is all happening, he's still in the mental hospital. Up to this point in the movie, this is him telling the doctor of the mental hospital, like, how he got caught. So he met this girl, this cute blonde, and she was really great. And she brought, like, kind of good things out in him, and he really liked her. Except she had this really dickish ex-boyfriend who, man, what does he say? He's talking about that other girl, and he says something like, "Well, she's keeping your seat warm,
or she's keeping me warm for now, or something."
She's keeping me warm for when you come back, or something like that.
Yeah, she's keeping me busy for now. I think he says she's keeping me busy for now.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, there's this sequence in the movie theater that's really fucked up because they're watching a movie about a Santa Claus that kills people, right? And it's actually the first 10 minutes of the first Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yes.
Which,
ironically, 10 minutes of the movie they hadn't already reused.
Yes, which, again, goes back to the whole fuck you movie. Just fuck you. But anyway, at which point there's some punk guys and they're talking shit in the back of the theater, and Ricky moves off and basically throttles the shit out of them when nobody's looking. And then his girlfriend gets, basically like a talking to from her ex about how he's still waiting for her. I mean, this is where the movie gets very forced, because then they're walking down the street talking and they just happen to bump into him parked in front of his house with his cool car. Does the ex-boyfriend, does he throw her down? What happens? I can't remember what it is. Does he grab her? He does something to the girl.
I think he grabs her, yes. I think he grabs her, and then that's the inciting incident, and Ricky just kind of loses it.
Yeah, at which point Ricky loses his mind, and he kills the ex-boyfriend. And he kills it in a pretty gruesome way. Although I can't remember what he does. Does he slam his head in the hood? Is that what he does?
Remember, he hooks the battery cables up to his mouth and blows his eyes out.
That's right. That's what he does. Oh yeah. So he kills him. He kills him in a pretty gruesome way. But here's the thing now, right? He's killed the guy, and his girlfriend freaks out and basically starts screaming and yelling at him, right? And this is the thing that finally fully triggers Ricky to go full maniac. Up until this time, it's been like little bits of maniac that get out and then kind of go back in, and they come out and they go back in. But now we've gone full maniac. At which point he kills the girlfriend. A cop shows up, tries to arrest him. He kills that cop, gets his hand on a gun, and once he got his hand on a gun, now it's fucking full maniac, because it's like, fuck this. I'm going to kill everybody now. At which point you get your apparently well-memed scene of Garbage Day, where he just randomly kills some guy who's out to do his garbage. And the cops show up and they catch him, right? I mean, that's the short of it. They show up in force and they catch Ricky, and Ricky goes in the hospital. Except at this point, Ricky's killed the doctor, and he's done with the mental hospital, and he escapes, right? Now, again, this is a 45-minute movie, so it's got to move. And then Ricky gets out of the hospital, and there's the nun who's, I think she's supposed to be the nun, the secondary nun from the first movie.
She is, yeah. It's the same. But Sister Mary, different. But it's a different actress, so like you don't recognize her, and so she's talking to like the police, and they realize that Ricky is actually probably. He's probably looking for Mother Superior, because that would be like the source of his ire, much like Billy. And that makes sense, because she is the problem. I mean, she also abused Ricky, and abused Ricky's brother. She killed his brother in front of him. And at the end of the first movie, we jumped over this. At the end of the first movie, Ricky looks at her and says, "Naughty." So he clearly blames her squarely, correctly, for killing her his brother.
So along the way, he sees a guy dressed as Santa Claus, and he needs the change to call because he uses the phone book to find where Mother Superior is. And honestly, I think he just needed the change from the donation bucket. But then I think when he saw the Santa Claus suit, honestly, I think he put it on because it made him think of his brother. I think to some degree he felt like he was completing the murder that his brother didn't get to complete. So for me, it's not weird. It just feels like we didn't get all the legwork that we should have gotten to make it make more sense.
That's what I'm getting at. That's why it just seems to come out of nowhere because it's literally the last 10 minutes of the movie.
But that's the whole movie. The whole movie is they didn't have the time or the money to do the legwork. So he shows up, he kills Mother Superior, which you're glad he does, because at this point she's just a mean bitch. And she's been, and she's awful. She was awful to kids, and she was just, So when Ricky, and in that respect, this is the one thing that Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 gets right, which is that Billy finally gets his revenge. Ricky kills her. But then the sad part is that, rather than escape, Ricky stays there and gets shot by the cops and dies. And you're kind of sitting there going, well, I guess that's the only way that it could end because he's gone full maniac.
Well, dies until he comes back to life because then they made 3 where he's still alive and he opens his eyes at the end of this one.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
You know what? I didn't know that either. Len told me and he said, don't watch it because it's awful and I'm not going to. So, because I don't care to see if he works.
It makes more sense. It makes more sense for him to die in this one, just like Billy did, for the trauma to have overwhelmed him. Except rather than not be able to take revenge, he was able to take revenge before it killed him. But
unfortunately, you don't have that sympathy because this movie did not do, as you said, the legwork. So Ricky, who should be every bit, or more or less, as sympathetic as his brother. You just comes off and you're like, okay, he's lost his mind, but we got 40 minutes of the original movie trying to tell us this is him.
Yeah, and the difference is that Billy, in the first movie, Billy was kind of a nice, soft-hearted kid when he wasn't, dealing with anything Christmassy. Like, he did come off like a nice guy. He came off like a nice kid. He just didn't like Christmas. So when he finally changes, like, it's so sad because it really is, it just burns up the good kid that he was completely. It's gone now, and in this movie, from the first time you meet Ricky, when he's a little kid, he seems pretty normal. But by the time his father dies, his foster father, when his foster father dies, you can already tell there's something up with him. I mean, he basically kills somebody when he's supposed to be like 15, 16 years old. Right.
But also, the movie starts out with the framing device of the psychologist, and Ricky's already a lunatic who seems like he's completely nuts.
Yeah.
So you diffuse our sympathy, whereas the first movie starts off and Billy is a child.
Yeah.
And he's just being traumatized until he's an adult, and you have built-in sympathy because you've seen that he's had mostly a life of pain. Whereas Ricky comes off and he's this hulking lunatic right off the bat. So you're automatically like, okay, it's not the same sympathy level, unfortunately.
No. And that's the thing is, at the end of the day, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is a bad sequel. It has some interesting ideas. It's got the cliff notes of what could have been a good idea for a sequel. But they never were able to do it. They didn't have the money. And instead, they made a sequel that's fucking insulting, to be honest with you. Like, if I'd paid for this and I'd saw it in theaters, I would have been fucking insulted by this. So, I wouldn't tell anybody to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. I think the first one is worth watching, but I don't think you should see the second one. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, if you want to see it and you don't have to pay for it, just jump to 45 minutes into the movie and watch it from there. Watch the 45-minute short film that is basically like the outline for what the sequel could have been. But it's even then, because it's just the cliff notes, it's not as good. So you're better off just watching the first one and enjoying that as the I don't want to call it I guess it's a work of art, as the mean but fascinating tale of a child's trauma that inevitably kills him.
Well, I said this to you. they've remade the first movie, and I have no interest in seeing it because I guess it goes supernatural, which it just, to me, I don't care.
Like, why would you?
Yeah, that's what I was told. Yeah, who knows?
Why would you go?
Whereas the second movie is the one you remake. That's where somebody should make a remake of a film, because that sequel is so botched, but you can tell
the ideas are
there's potential in it. You could make a good movie out of it. And since they fucked it up the first time, that's when you remake a movie. Not when there's an actual interesting film already in existence, which is what, of course, they did, was remake the more interesting movie. And they left the junky movie, or the incomplete, really. Let's not even call it junky. The incomplete film is the one to remake. So
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, or 1, sorry, Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 is a complete, well-done movie about a breakdown.
Yes.
It does. Yes. And the thing is, I think making it supernatural ruins the whole point of the movie. It's a kid who got hurt, and rather than get helped, he was hurt more until eventually he got to a point where he popped, and society basically had to pay for it until it killed him. Making it doing anything to it that's not that is a different movie. You know?
Oh, okay. So apparently, when the killer, apparently there was an electrical surge when he touched the killer, and now the voices of the killer guide him.
Oh, fuck you.
And indicate who is not. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying, is they remade the wrong movie, and stupidly, as opposed to remaking the movie that needs the remake. Because I still think the basic idea of that Ricky sequel works.
Unless it's not unless it's not supernatural, but it's basically like trying to make it so that he's got what do you call it? Oh my god, why am I shorting on this? He's like
dissociative disorder? or whatever?
What do they call it? Jesus Christ, on the tip of my tongue. It's not hypochondriac. That's not the word I'm looking for. He's schizophrenic. Schizophrenic.
Yeah.
That basically, like, the whole event has triggered a sense of schizophrenia in him, and that he's hearing the voices. The voices are basically the trauma that are, and so it's not supernatural. It's just basically giving voice to his schizophrenia.
That.
I know that's not what it is. I'm just saying that's what I'm saying.
And the movie states it because when he dies, he touches Pam, and his voice goes into her.
Oh, fuck you. Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, listen.
No.
Yeah.
They're doing Jason Voorhees body jumping bullshit. It's a fucking stupid idea.
Listen,
let's just
if you want to see a really good body jumping horror kind of movie, go see Fallen.
The Hidden. Or Fallen,
Honestly, that's a good fucking back-to-back, isn't it? Hidden and Fallen.
Fallen and the Hidden? Yeah.
Yeah, Fallen and the Hidden.
That is good. Yeah.
That's a good double. Yeah. Fallen and the Hidden.
It is a good double feature. Yeah.
But but beyond that, the first movie is fine the way it is. You know, it doesn't. You know, does it look a bit cheap at times? Sure, but it is fine for what it is. It is written well.
Yeah.
It's not supernatural. It's trauma. And that's our first pocket review right there, right? It's Silent Night 1 and Silent Night 2. Right. Whereas our second two movies, this is where things are going to get more complicated. Because Joe had me watch Inferno, which is the sequel to the original Suspiria. And then we also watched the remake of Suspiria.
Yep.
And so I want to talk about both these movies because I'm going to give you like my mission statement here before we get into Inferno, but I want you to understand the big idea and for Joe to understand what as well, which is that I feel like Inferno was a sequel that was done poorly, right? And the thing is, but the idea of doing a sequel to Suspiria seems like an interesting idea. But then I feel like Inferno did a lot of things wrong. Whereas to make a remake of Suspiria seems like a really bad idea unless you make all the right decisions, at which point it's pretty fucking amazing. And that's why I want to review these two movies, because the Suspiria remake is something that shouldn't have happened, that did, and did it right. Whereas the sequel, Inferno, is something that should have happened, but was done poorly. And it's kind of bad to me. Like, and I'm not going to say it's bad. Like, it's unlike Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. I'd say you should still see Inferno. It's just that compared to Suspiria, the original Suspiria, the writing is just nuts. And its biggest issue is the fact that the lead man in that movie is so boring and so bland, and he's the last person that you actually want to spend any time with. And all the women in that movie are more interested and more fierce and they're more involved with what's going on, and they all get killed off, and you're left with this bland asshole. And what I didn't realize until we watched the Suspiria remake, which is that the witches need a witness, right? So they have this old man, and they kind of capture him and they use him as a witness to their ceremony. And I realized that the lead from Inferno is basically just a witness. He's there to see what happens, and then when they reveal everything to him, they essentially let him go. It's not like he fights his way off. It's not like he solves anything. It's not like he beats them. The main witch, which is, what is it, Tenenbaum? Is it Tenenbaum?
Yeah, Tenenbaum. It's just, the one that's there is...
Because Mother of Tears is...
I can't pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, Tenenbaum. Yeah. We're just going to call it Tenenbaum, whatever. So the witches that's there...
Mama T.
Mama T basically just does what the fuck she wants, burns the place to the ground, and says, "Don't worry, they'll fucking rebuild it. Fuck off." And then he runs away. And that's the thing, is that's the whole movie. Like, there are witches. There are still two other witches, and honestly, like, there are moments of really cool elements, like when early on in the movie when the Mother of Tears, who's supposed to be the beautiful one, shows up early on and mesmerizes. He's basically Bland Johnson again. She mesmerizes Bland Johnson. That scene is genuinely very cool, and I wanted more of that witch because there is a alluring power to that woman. And then she just fucks off, and he goes to America. And when he goes to America, everyone else is more interesting than him. His sister is interesting. She gets killed. His friend, who is trying to find out stuff while in Rome, gets killed, and then the woman who lives in the building, who thinks that something's going on and starts kind of investigating it with Bland Johnson, she gets killed, and all we're left with is this bland... I don't want to call him an asshole. He's not a bad guy. There's just nothing to him.
No, he's just a drip. He's nothing.
Yeah, and it's just so
Mr.
weird. Because in a movie with so much personality and color and has such interesting characters kind of floating around, to have your central protagonist be so bland.
Yeah. Willie Wallpaper is a nothing character.
Yeah. And so Inferno...
I agree. I like Inferno quite a bit. But it is very hard to ignore how bad a decision it was to make that guy the lead. That is a crucial error.
Everything but him is really great. Like when you switch... So early on in the movie, you switch over to Bland Johnson's friend, right? Because Bland Johnson was going to read the letter, and then the Mother of Tears basically mesmerizes him, and he forgets the letter. And his friend reads the letter and goes, "Oh shit, your sister in America is dealing with some weird shit." And she goes to kind of investigate it. And you start following this woman as she's trying to find out what is this book about the three mothers and witches and what's going on. And she is interesting. She is kind of fierce. She's brave. She's trying to investigate all this shit. And you're with her for a while. Like, it's almost like this movie is like several short stories about women who get killed by witches that are all strung together by them all knowing the same Bland Johnson. Like, if this was going to be a book, I would write it as 3 short stories about 3 different women who all die, and the only connection between the 3 short stories is the same bland asshole connects all 3 of them, right? But otherwise, when you're with the Bland Johnson's friend in Rome, it's an interesting movie. The colors are gorgeous. There's a dread going on. There's a fascinating mystery to the world of the witches. When you're dealing with Blaine Johnson's sister in New York, and she's investigating, she's fucking bold as hell. She does shit that is just stupid. But she's so curious as to what's going on that she just keeps going. And then, they kill her. And then when Blaine Johnson shows up in New York to find out what's going on with his sister and can't find her, and he ends up talking to the roommate. Now, the woman who lives in the building. That woman, that's the woman from, what's her name? Is Daria... What is her
Daria
name?
Nicolini.
Yeah. So she's...
Gianna.
She's a good actress. She's interesting. She's in this situation where her husband is away for work, and she's ill, and you don't know what she's ill from. Are the witches in the building killing her? Are they drawing energy from her? Like, what's going on, right? She is more interesting. And then you're with her for a while until they kill her. And then all you're left with is this boring guy. And the thing is, every time you're not with him, the movie gets really good. And then every time you get back, you end up with him again. You're like, oh, man. And literally, at the end of it all, he doesn't solve anything. He doesn't stop the witches. He just leaves. Fucking Mother T burns the whole place down. And he basically is like, he's the witness. And he walks away. And he's lost his friend, his sister, and the woman who also lived in the building. He's lost the three of them. And he's got nothing to show for it. Witches 3, boring asshole 0. And that's the end of the movie. So, for me, as a sequel, Inferno doesn't work. It is a visually very pretty movie. And I do like it when you're not with that guy. I want to reiterate that because I want to be like, oh, Inferno's a trash movie altogether. When you're not with him, it's an interesting movie. And those 3 sections, when you're with other people, with the women, it is an interesting movie. It is an interesting sequel. But the decision to then always cut back to this guy, and the thing is, what was the other Argento movie we watched recently about the murders with the pianist? Deep Red. Okay, Deep Red, male lead, right? Not the brightest bulb. And yet, he had charisma. He was kind of interesting. He had his own kind of way of doing things. I wasn't annoyed to be stuck with him. I didn't want to leave him and run off with Gianna, who was the woman of the movie. I liked when they were together because they play off each other really well. But I wasn't annoyed to be stuck with the male lead. So I know that Argento knows how to do it. I just don't understand why he picked this guy and they... I don't know if it was written this way or if he was just a bland actor. But I mean, God, he's so boring.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The movie has two... The male lead is the most critical problem. I also think not bringing back Goblin was a mistake. I think going with the Emerson guy. Music's not bad, but it's not anywhere near as memorable. Nowhere near.
No. And I don't want to get it. I don't want to mention that because it's like, okay, well, the Goblin might have been busy. Like it might not have been a choice.
I don't know what the reasoning was, but regardless of the reason, you do feel the missing part of the music being there. That it is something that gave Suspiria, the original, a lot of its character. It is a remarkable soundtrack. Outside of the actual production use of it on the actors, which is its own layer of wonderful kind of trivia. But even as a soundtrack for the movie, like my wife, who is not as into these movies nearly as much as I am, she will just walk around sometimes and go, witch, because that was on the soundtrack. Like she's got the Goblin bug, even though it's not her type of music. And even though she generally won't watch these movies without me making her watch them.
Yeah.
And even she has that little bit in there. And I'm like, I literally now thinking back to Inferno, I can't remember any of the music. I can't remember anything. It's as not intentionally, but
No,
it's empty as the main character.
It's just kind of like typical 70s music.
It's standard stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And
there's one moment
where
I think we said that he hits the goblin button, but it's basically by accident, and it's the only time in the movie.
But I mean, and it's got a lot of kind of weird DNA with Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, in that it feels like it's an inconsistent movie. I mean, only in that respect. It's an inconsistent movie.
Yeah.
Because he is so boring, and then everyone else is so interesting. And everything else in the movie is so interesting. You know, the bookseller and the shit he pulls. I mean, his death is just kind of ridiculous. But I mean, it's funny. It is. But like, you know, and Mother T, like, you know, she is far more aggressive and not like Mother Suspiria. Like this is a sequel that
you actually see her. She's actually doing things, not just dying in the back room.
This is a sequel that should have happened. This is a sequel that makes sense to make. It just didn't work. And the thing is that I feel like it just didn't work because of mainly one thing. I mean, the goblin music is another thing, but mainly that the lead is so bad that you can make one simple fix to this movie, which is that kill the brother in Rome rather than the friend, and then have the friend come to Rome to find out what the fuck is going on, because she's just lost her friend. Right?
Either of the women should have lived over that guy. I don't care if it's the sister or the friend. Doesn't matter. But one of those two should have been the lead.
Sister or the friend. Or keep the sister and the friend alive and let them figure it out together.
Sure. Yeah.
Way more interesting movie. Right? Plus, I feel like it's weird because I feel like the fact that the witches didn't kill the guy but killed all the women seems almost kind of out of character, but then Mother T seems to be a very destructive force. So
she is supposed to be the most kind of cruel of them all.
Yeah, so this is a sequel that should have worked, and yet it doesn't. And it's not a completely bad movie. It's just
unlike Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, I would still tell people to see this.
Oh yeah.
Just understand
I still think
that,
you should see it, because when you're not with the male lead, which you aren't quite a bit. I mean, that's the other thing too, is that even the movie seems to know that he sucks, because it spends so much time.
It takes a while before he's the main thing.
I didn't know he was the lead for a while, because you kept being with other people. You were with his sister in New York. You were with his friend in Rome. I mean, the movie, the nature of the movie is that it takes every opportunity to get the fuck away from him. I mean, later, at one point, you take off with the bookseller who lives next door to the sister's building. At every opportunity, this movie tries to fuck off and leave with somebody else, who then gets killed, and you're forced, with your tail between your legs, to go back to this asshole.
So essentially, the movie kills everybody else. There's nobody left.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that he doesn't live because he's so incredible. He gets to live because
by default.
Mother T lets him go. You know? Like, she scares the shit out of him. She's like, hey, witness me. And then he's like, get the fuck out now. And that's what he does. You know? So, it's a weird flick. I do think that I do think people should see it. But I think you should go into it knowing that you're not going to be impressed with the lead guy. Everything but him is good in this. And because he's the lead, it just sucks the movie down. You know?
Yeah. It definitely makes it, a lesser film compared to Suspiria, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the Goblin thing didn't bother me as much. It is missed. The Goblin music is better.
It doesn't bother me, but it's one more bit of flavor missing that would offset. Like, I would love to say that the only problem with the movie for me is the lead, but I like that Goblin shit. I enjoy the fact that their music almost doesn't seem to be in the right movie, and that sort of works for me.
If you told me that Dario Argento didn't direct the lead guy, he only directed the women, that would make a lot of sense to me.
Oh, sure.
Because it even feels like it's got a different pacing with him. You know what I mean?
And look, maybe it was that he was just realized he was completely disinterested in a male lead, but realized it way too late. He's already into the movie. And was like, oh, God. because when he did not that I've never read that Mother of Tears is all that good, but it is back to a female lead, which by itself seems like a smart decision making.
There is a part of me that's curious to see if he's able to correct any of the mistakes from the second one.
Yeah,
but you said it's very bad, right?
Well, that's what I always read, but you know what? I'm sort of warming to the idea of, hey, maybe we watch it and we make the decision ourselves, because maybe we'll find something in it. Because, popular opinion ain't always right.
Well, no, it's not, yeah.
So, I know Argento later in years, but it might be.
Well, I'm going to read up on it and see what other people say.
I'll let you make the call.
Yeah.
You tell if you're interested in seeing it, I'll watch it.
I'm almost I am. I am curious. But the thing is, so Joe said to me we should watch the Suspiria remake because he was really impressed by it, right? And I got to tell you, up front, I thought it was fantastic. It surprised me. It took all the elements from the original movie and then took them in a different direction. Not a massive different direction, but a slightly different direction. And it is, I hate to say it, but I feel like it's a superior film. Like, turning the magic into a physical force. That there is a physical force to the ritual. I feel like that was one of the things that was really missing from the original Suspiria. There's so little dance in a dance movie. Whereas, like, this movie, the dancing is the thing, the physical motion, right? Dakota Johnson is actually really damn good in this, which, normally I'm used to reading about her being in, like, not great movies. So it was, a surprise. And Tilda Swinton is still fucking amazing. That woman is just astounding. I did not realize she had as many parts in this. As you can hear in the commentary, we were very near the end of the movie where I think I said to you, did they just hire a young guy and put him in old makeup? He doesn't seem like he's an old guy. And then you were like, it's Tilda Swinton. And I was like, what? And it's
you at first said,
Swinton.
that'd be funny.
Yeah.
You thought I was joking. I'm like, no.
I did think you were joking,
serious.
yeah.
It's her.
And the fact that it's Tilda Swinton the whole movie, and I didn't just immediately go, that's Tilda Swinton in an old makeup. No, she played an old man for most of the movie, and I didn't even realize it was her. I just noted that the old man, that it looked a bit old man makeup-ish to the end. And you know what? It wasn't even the makeup that gave it up to me. You know what it was? It was the way he moved. There were a few little things he did that felt like they were too fluid for a man of that age. Right? But at one point in the movie, he's naked and he has a penis. They gave Tilda Swinton a penis and everything. It's a pretty good job. And Tilda Swinton, she plays 3 different roles in this movie that are all very different. And she's good in all of them, especially since, Mother Marcus? When you see Mother Marcus in this, she's kind of a grotesque monster. I said to you before I knew that it was Tilda Swinton, I don't know who they got to play her, but whoever's in that makeup is doing a really good job. And then you were like, that's Tilda Swinton. So Tilda Swinton is like half this movie. No, Tilda Swinton is basically half this movie, and then there's the rest of the cast. Right? So I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed all the decisions that they made, all the things they added. The Tom York soundtrack is haunting. He created a really astounding sort of soundscape. I think he watched the original and basically thought, how can I do a Radiohead version of Goblin? I think that was his modus operandi. And beyond that, they expand the story. You get more of the witches and the coven that they have and how they vote things out. And they really hold back. Early on in the movie, there is a sequence where they imbue Dakota Johnson with power that she doesn't realize it. And she does a dance. And the dance is secretly beating up another dancer who's like in a room below her, right? That is probably one of the most brutal scenes I have seen in a movie in a long time, because she doesn't realize what she's doing with the power that Tilda Swinton's mother, what's her name? Brother Brock? What is her name?
Madame Blanc is the Tilda Swinton normal.
Yeah, she doesn't realize what Mother Blanc has given her. So when she starts dancing, and then the girl basically starts getting thrown around, the choreography in this movie is so well done. And the way that this woman gets twisted up into a brutal pretzel by this magic force that's beating the shit out of her. It would be disturbing if it wasn't so fucking amazingly well done. And I think that's what it is. Every time you get to a point in this movie where you're about to go, Jesus Christ, that's fucking awful, you go, but man, that's really well done. And it offshoots you, because you're like, okay, that's brutal, but man, like, how did they do that? That's fucking great. So yeah, who directed this? Who was the guy who directed this?
I can't pronounce his last name.
Has he done other stuff that we know?
Oh, yeah. Well, that we would know. I don't know that I've seen... Okay, here it is. Luca Guadagnino. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Let's see. What else has he done? Filmography. Let's see. Director. He did... well, I've never seen any of these except for this one. The one that I think most people would know now is Challengers. That's that movie that a lot of people were talking about.
Oh my god!
Last year.
You know what's funny? That movie. I have the soundtrack to that because 9 Inch Nails did it, or Trent Reznor did it, and I remember I was listening to I heard the soundtrack and I thought, man, that's a really good Trent Reznor soundtrack, and I was almost tempted to see the movie, because the soundtrack was so fucking good. And now that I know that this is the guy that directed it, I know something about that movie. I'm almost fascinated to check it out, but it's kind of it's a drama. It's basically like, the relationship between competitive athletes.
Well, he is an Italian lunatic, so.
Well, yes, apparently.
The best line about him: his films are characterized by their emotional complexity, eroticism, and lavish visuals.
Yeah, the dance beating scene is amazing. It's just amazingly well done. And then but the thing is that, so they set up this terror, and then like it's just kind of there, and they give you little hints of it throughout the movie. I mean, these are not in the first movie. In the original Suspiria, it is a slasher movie with witch components. This is not a slasher movie. This is a fucking witch movie. They went full witch. You've got witches with all kinds of power. At one point, the cops come to investigate one of the dancers that went missing. And, later when you see them, the witches have mesmerized them and are basically threatening to cut one of their penises off with a giant hook. Like, there's so many components going on simultaneously. All the witches are frightening because they are so powerful. And they're not evil. It's that it's not that they're like, oh, we want to hurt people. It's they do not want to be fucked with. And that's what becomes really impressive about them, is that these witches go from being like, in the first movie, you got the sense that there was an evil to what they were doing. We're going to suck the life out of these people. And like there was a nefariousness, which is in this movie, you get the sense it's not that they want to be nefarious. They just don't want to be fucked with. Don't bother them. And you know what? Generally, they won't bother you. And that's the sense I get, is that, when Dakota Johnson's character comes in, the situation that they're in is that one of their lead people is dying, who they think might be Mother Suspiria, and they are trying to find a way to essentially either rejuvenate or resurrect her, right? And in the seat of that goal, they are brutal. But it's not that they want to be evil. They're trying to save one of their own. Their own are more important than anybody outside the walls of the building. The coven is the most important thing. And to some degree, the fact that Mother Blanc becomes as enamored of Dakota Johnson's, what's her name in the movie?
Susie Bannion.
Susie?
It's still
Susie
Bannion. Well,
Bannion.
they say Susanna, but it's
yeah, Susie. So the fact that Mother Blanc becomes as enamored of Susie as she does, and almost doesn't let the ritual happen because she's so enamored of her, it makes it so that she almost turns on the. It's a betrayal of the coven, which is why Mother Marcus basically pseudo decapitates her. But I mean. It is a slow but continuously paced movie. It is, I mean, it's fascinating. It's got so many new details. I mean, it really does complete and create a whole new world of witches. Where if you told me that this guy was going to make Inferno, I would be so fascinated how he was going to do it. Because I don't think he would make the mistakes that were made with the original sequel. So, I mean, I can gish about this movie, but it is so well done. And I'm not like a huge Dario Argento fan. Most of the movies of his I've seen are with Joe, but I do genuinely think that this is a fantastic movie about witches in the a coven of witches. And honestly, at first I thought it was weird that he set it in the same time period too as the original. Like I thought it was gonna be like present day, but even that doesn't bother me. I mean, it is just so well done. And that's what's fascinating because it doesn't feel like something that should have been made, and yet it's damn near perfect. I mean, you said you think this is probably the best remake you've ever seen, and I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, I'm generally against remaking very successful, well-known, well-made films, but this is the example when somebody says, "Well, are there any examples of good remakes?" This is the best one I can think of.
You know what this is for me? And I always go back to this because this is the best use of melting universes. The original Suspiria is the original Ghost in the Shell anime, right? The Suspiria remake is standalone complex.
Sure.
I love both of those, and I love how they characterize Motoko Kusanagi and the world that they live in. But they are different animations. They get into different things. They bring in different characters. They are so different, and yet they are the same material. And this is Suspiria remake. They are same movie. They use same components, and yet one of them they go in different directions, they try different things, and you can enjoy them both separately and love them separately. And they don't have to overlap. They can both be excellent and both be Suspiria.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, and if anybody is interested, Jason McNamara and I did 2 late nights. We focused on each film, saying they were equally great. So if you want to hear a real deep dive on all of it, we did that.
Yeah,
a while ago now. I don't remember exactly what year.
I can sit and go on.
This is the thing.
But yeah,
if the only difference really between them in terms of my appreciation of them is I find the original a lot easier to just watch randomly. A, because it's an hour shorter, but also because the remake is a lot heavier emotionally. It's a much more weighty film than the first
original
movie. The first movie
is more
a lot of fun.
Yeah, the original is more fun, whereas the sequel just gives you, I mean, the reboot or whatever, remake gives you so much more, but it's so heavy. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the male psychology, the male psychiatrist is not in the first film at all. There is no character of that equal. The closest thing is Udo Kier is sort of that guy in that he's an exposition character, but he's in the movie for 3 minutes maybe, and that's it. You don't know anything about him. Whereas in this movie, that character is all throughout the movie. He is a vital character, and the ending is really all about him, and explains kind of why Suspiriorum is different in this.
Yeah, and the ending is so different in that in the original, Susie kills Mother Suspirium, whatever, and that's the end of the coven. Where in this one, you are left with a major question, which is, does Susie become Mother Suspiria, or was she always Mother Suspiria? And this just restored her. Like, there's a...
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it's like a question mark of an ending, but there's a few different ways it can go. Because Susie is clearly Mother Suspiria at the end. She has the power. And and this goes, and I think I said to you that she's not evil. She's like an elder god. She's got so much power that she doesn't play by the same rules, and which is exemplified by the fact that when she goes to see the psychologist at the end, she apologizes to him because she feels he was mistreated. She gives him what he wants, which is to know what happened to his wife during the war, right? But then she also takes all his memories of his wife and the witches away from him. So it's like, it's not that she's evil, but it's that she is a force. And the rest of us are just mortals. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that she wants to mistreat us. She tries to be as kind to the psychiatrist as she can. But there is also an acknowledgement that she must protect her coven. The coven is the thing. You know, and listen, she brings, I get the sense she brings Mother Blank back from the dead. I mean, when they think she's dead and they put her head kind of back on the neck, and then you realize that she's still alive. And it's like, well, of course, because Susie adored Mother Blank, so why wouldn't Mother Suspiria adore her? You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a far richer, more kind of philosophically questionable ending, because you're sitting there going, was she always Mother Suspiria? Did she not know she was Mother Suspiria? Or did she truly become Mother Suspiria? And the mistake that Mother Marcus made in this movie was thinking that she was restoring herself rather than restoring the true power of Mother Suspiria to the world. You know, like, there's a lot of questions. But it makes it a richer experience.
I agree. In terms of narrative, there's no comparison. The first movie is not really interested in a cohesive story.
No, but it's fun.
It's
it is
the
fun.
bare bones. Yeah, no.
It's good
That's
looking.
What I'm saying
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 times out of 10, if you ask me which Suspiria I want to watch, it's going to be the original. Because most of the time, you know, I just want to see the beautiful colors, that soundtrack, just the whole atmosphere of it is so singular and interesting and different.
Yeah.
But, like, if somebody had never... I will always want people to see the remake because I think it's a wonderful movie, even outside of it being a remake.
You know, I feel like you should... me personally, I feel like you should see the original before you see the remake. I think seeing the original makes the remake so much better. I think on its own, it's a very good movie.
Either order would work fine. I think either order works because you'll very quickly pick up what the differences are, and you can decide which of those you think is better. I actually think it would be interesting for somebody to watch the remake and then the original. I don't think it matters. I don't think it does because they are so different in almost every way except for the very core framework. The very essential, bare bones 2-sentence plot is the only thing that's the same about them. Everything else is different. Yeah. I mean, you could also say that both are very much, the visuals are attached to the music, and that's somewhat true, although you're not as attached to Goblin as I am, so I don't know if that's universal.
Well, and I like Tom York quite a bit. So for me, it's like,
I think it's a spectacular soundtrack. I think it's a perfect soundtrack.
But to some degree,
this is the Daft Punk for this movie, like Tron Legacy. Like it's perfectly matched.
Tom York could do the soundtrack he wanted to do for this because the original had a Goblin soundtrack.
Yeah.
You expected to let somebody do something with the soundtrack. You didn't just want Hans Zimmer to do a generic adventure soundtrack to it, you know?
But that's what I mean about, I think either order of seeing them, I would tell anybody who watches one to watch the other, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the order actually matters because I think it is interesting to see how radically different
I mean,
these two versions of the same story are, and both are equally successcul. And that's
and I could go on
as hell
about how good I think this movie is. I do really think it's fantastically good. But for people, as to who I would tell to see this, I think that scene early on, the brutal dance beating, right? There's a point in that movie, in that scene, where that girl is so scared and so beaten that she pisses herself, right? And that's very disturbing. That idea of somebody who is, and she's not even dead. She's been twisted and broken, but she's still fully alive, and she's so scared, and it's just such a brutal scene. I think that is going to be a roadblock for a few people. When I say to people, it is a dark witch movie, and there are scenes that are brutal.
Well, also the ending is a hell of a shift from the previous 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, when they get to the end, I mean, but when Death himself shows up, all hell breaks loose. Yeah. I mean, it gets fucking.
It turns completely Argento red, and there is just fountains of blood. I mean, it is because at one point you would say, "Wow, there's just so little color." I said, "Yeah," until you get to the end.
And that's the thing, is that it's so reserved. It's so reserved that at the end, when it takes off, you're just like, whoa!
It punches way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say anybody. I agree.
There are some scenes that will probably be too much, and that's a difference too from the original, where I think if you don't hate the original inside of 10 minutes, you're going to like the rest of it. Because that's definitely a 10 to 15 minutes and you're out or you're in, because you're going to either get what that is or not.
The original there's so much tension in the original movie. I think that's what the original Suspiria is so good at, the tension, right? Whereas,
like you said, the scene with the gym. You said, is there a gym scene in here?
Oh yeah, where the people are behind the curtains, and it's So that's
what I'm saying. No, there's nothing like that.
The first movie is all about tension, whereas this movie, it's not tension. It's not dread. There is an intensity to this movie. This movie is all about
weight. Because the mother's dying, and you keep cutting back to it.
Yeah,
and you see she was like, she's not religious suppression. All this stuff.
She's not just some American girl. She's a Mennonite from Ohio. She defied her family because she loved dance. I mean, she was beaten for it. She was also abused. I mean, yeah. So I think this is a phenomenal remake. I think that'll if you can get over. If you are prepared for a few very brutal scenes, overall, it is an amazing thriller witch coven movie. It plays with a lot of ideas, and frankly, I want this guy to make a remake of Inferno. Inferno is flawed. I want this guy to fix it and fit it into his witch world and see what that looks like. Because we've met Mother Suspiria, and she's fascinating. Let's see what Mother T looks like in this guy's world.
And they do make a point, too, because I when I started watching this, the first time I watched the remake, I actually was very curious if they even bring up the other mothers. And they do. I thought they might just focus on this one because maybe that was all he was interested in. But they still have the three mothers, so they could make two more. And it would be, what would be interesting to me is if he were to make Inferno and Mother of Tears, let's say, to just follow the naming of the other ones, would each of those movies be a radically different tone, or would it be a similar approach? I really don't know. And I don't know which I would prefer, because this works so well. You almost say to yourself, well, follow the template. It worked here. Stick with what works. But as each of the mothers is in a different area, you could do something wildly different with each of them in terms of even what their visual palette in the story is. Especially with Tenebrarum, because she's the cruel one. Well, if this movie's got brutality, you would have to imagine there's going to be way more in that one.
Yeah, but the thing
psychologically or not.
But the brutality in this movie is all very specifically directed. Because here's the thing, right? They play at hurting the cops. But they don't actually hurt them. They just wipe their memories and send them back out. Or they change their memories and send them back out. But they don't needlessly hurt them. They don't needlessly hurt anyone that doesn't meet or get in the way of their cause. So it's very focused.
Oh, I agree, but they
but then at
fold
the end,
Olga to pieces, and Sarah's leg gets snapped out.
Oh yeah,
so,
but because they got in the way. If you get in the way, they will be brutal. But they are not just brutal. Whereas Mother T is fucking brutal. Like she burned her own fucking building to the ground, and she was like, "Fuck it, they'll build it again," and killed everybody in the building. You know, to my knowledge, anybody who was in that building pretty much died. So,
and that's what I mean about if he were to do Inferno.
Yeah.
Since Mother T is cruel.
Yeah, and that's why
would
these
it be
two
a much
movies,
different movie? I don't know.
That's why I wanted to talk about these two movies together, because Inferno is a sequel that I was a sequel I wanted that didn't work, and the remake of Suspiria is a movie that I didn't want that works really well, and now I want that guy to remake the sequel as well and see what he does with it. I mean, he probably won't, because I mean, what was this? This was made in what, 2018?
Yeah, I mean, he might. Who knows?
It's been years now. I mean, that's the funny thing too.
Listen, don't forget how long did George Miller work on Fury Road? So,
yeah,
you know,
true.
sometimes if you want to get the idea right, you take your time, and I'm fine with that.
You know what? Listen,
I'd rather people take their time and not rush.
I'd look up to see if he'd said anything, but I don't want to fuck with the very tentative balance my computer has right now.
Yeah, no,
the internet. Yeah. Listen, the internet gods have given us more than an hour and a half of recording here, so I'm going to be grateful, and I'm not going to mess with it. I don't even want to open a program. I just want to get to the end in one piece. So,
well,
in conclusion,
I did look it up. I took the risk since my side has been stable.
Oh, you're fine, yeah.
And he did say that he intended the first one to be a part one.
Ooh.
But the likelihood of it ever getting made, because this movie bombed hard when it came out.
No,
it was a disaster. Oh yes, critically slammed. Yeah, it was a bomb. So what he's basically said is that
why are we the kiss of death? If we like a movie, it never makes money. Son of a bitch.
I know.
God, what is wrong with us? You know, this is funny too, because it's not even like, I think sometimes with you, like, you almost don't want to like movies that are popular. Like, that's the feeling I get. But it's so funny because when you and I both like a movie hard, it never makes money. Like, we are such an albatross. You know, it's like, you know, you saw this, you loved it, I put it off, I watched it, I fucking love it, didn't make any money. And it's like, son of a bitch!
However, it has gotten more interested, more
following.
People liking it over time. Yeah. So, it is not impossible that some years from now,
Blade Runner 2049?
Right.
Yeah, right. That happened.
Yeah.
And listen, that is one of the best sequels I've ever seen. So,
right.
I mean,
so it's not impossible.
Things do happen sometimes. You know?
Yep. I would rather it take longer than be rushed. So if that's how it has to happen, that's how it has to happen.
Yeah, and it works too, because you don't need to have anybody from Suspiria in the sequel.
No.
Yeah.
No. And if it never does get a sequel, it doesn't matter. Movie wraps up perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's the important part. They didn't leave a stinger for you to go,
No,
sequel bait.
Nope. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So, definitely see Silent Night, Deadly Night 1. Avoid 2. See Inferno, but it is flawed. But definitely, you know what? Everybody see the Suspiria remake, get its numbers up there, so that they'll make a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great.
It was. I love it.
I've been thinking about it.
I thought it was important for you to see it, because
I've been thinking about it. I've been kind of rolling it around in my mind, different scenes. I mean, Tilda Swinton. God, you know what's funny about Tilda Swinton is she's one of those actresses. I don't think that she is she's not my type. Put it like that. I don't look at her and think that, oh, she's an attractive woman. But I do look at her and I think that she is an astounding woman. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes. Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree.
She is just incredible. Like, she's always good in the stuff fucking Constantine. Constantine is such a bubblegum of a movie. And yet,
yeah, it is.
Tilda Swinton as the Archangel is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such brilliant casting.
I'm never attracted, but I'm always impressed.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. So the fact that she has 3 roles in this movie, and I didn't realize it until you told me. Like, I never just figured it out. And all 3 of those roles are very good. I mean, that's astounding.
No, yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I mean, yeah, that psychiatrist character is so central. And I kept waiting to see if you would ask me.
No, I just thought,
who was playing it or something about it. And you, at one point, you said the thing about the old age makeup.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Although to me, actually, I think sometimes she overdoes the old movement a little bit, where it's like, okay, that's very exaggerated. But it doesn't matter. The character's still so good. She's acting very well through a prosthetic.
Yeah, amazing.
That makes her into a male character. It's great.
Yeah, and it helps that
especially in the end scene. It's unbelievable how good she is in that last scene. It's just great.
I mean, and I'll tell you this: Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton have incredible chemistry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that because of that, when they act with each other in the end, and Dakota Johnson is Mother Suspiria, and Tilda Swinton is the old man, they still have incredible chemistry. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of this funny thing. So
that's amazing.
Hopefully more people will go see it, and we'll get a sequel.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, as somebody who adores the original, I love this one too. So I think they, like you said, they coexist very well, and more people should see it. That's why I really wanted you to see it. I was like, no, this is a good movie.
It's a shame. It's a shame we couldn't get the subtitles right, though. So if you watch the movie, if you see the commentary, a lot of the movie is Joe doing the German dialogue for me, which is a fun experience.
Not speaking German, reading it.
No. So it'll get you closer to my experience of having had Joe recount movies to me before there was ever a podcast.
Yeah, I'm tempted to not put the subtitles on the video so that it is like you saw it.
Oh wow, that would be interesting. Yeah, because then you would get my experience.
You know what it was. Because at first, if I do it that way, at first you're going to notice that I'm literally just reading the text. And there was a point where I'm like, okay, I should probably try to add something to this so you understand how they're talking.
For me, there's a storytelling aspect to it that's quite fun, you know?
That's what I mean. Listen, I was more of like trying to get the emotion in it as I went on.
It doesn't matter. That commentary isn't going to come out until what, 2028 at this point?
2028, yeah. It's going to be a while.
Yeah, so.
You'll have forgotten about the show long before then. So.
We'll see if we get there.
We'll see. Yeah, as long as we don't have more internet problems. So we better get out. We're approaching the 2-hour mark, so let's get out before anything fries, because we've been very, very, very fortunate based on the first 2 hours of what we were going through.
After 2 hours of failing, yes, I'd say we got lucky. So,
yeah, it's like I always say.
Take it away.
Computer chips. Let me tell you about them.
They'll let you down here and there. Well, this is going to be out right after Christmas, so hopefully everybody had a happy holiday. I think our next show will be after the New Year. So happy holidays, happy New Year. And yeah, that's it. We're going to get out before the internet completely fails on one side or another. So yeah, go watch Suspiria. Go watch the first Silent Night, Deadly Night. Your option entirely on Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, but be prepared. It kind of sucks. And Inferno, worth seeing, if only to see what was done wrong.
Flawed, but interesting.
Flawed but interesting. Yeah, I mean, I have yet to watch an Argento movie that there was no value to, fortunately.
There you go.
I think there are some out there that I would change my tune on, but I'm not going to watch them, like Dracula 3000 AD or whatever. I'm not watching it. I'm just not going to watch it. On that note, happy holidays, happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @Ozone Nightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.